Hey everybody, my name is Livin2k, analyst for the official Fortnite broadcast, commentator, inconsistent streamer, but amongst all those things, I'm an avid watcher of Fortnite, and I believe this weekend, we got the opportunity to watch one of the greatest games in online Fortnite history. But how do we get here? The weekend of action started with Heat 1 and Heat 2 of NA East. Heat 1 provided for some entertainment with some of the top names in the Heat making it through, with a couple of big names booking their first tickets through to the reboot round. The likes of Joji, Tabs, Who Fishy, P-God, Elige and Jelty being some of the names to not make it through. Well, Heat 2 is where things really started to get crazy. The likes of Gabe, Tahi, Sprite making it through with ease, being joined by Zypher's trio, Mars's trio, Riverson's trio. But instantly we knew things were going to get incredibly crazy for the reboot round when we saw Clarity's trio book a ticket to the reboot round, along with Arab, Nate and Innocent, D-Roller, Colazo and Class, and Mega, Dubs and Eclipse. Moving to Sunday though, the Heat 3 reboot round entries provided for a few less surprises, however still some formidable names securing their places in the one-off game. Then came Heat 4. Now, when Heat 4 concluded, seeing Calc, Furious and Sebi in 9th was a surprise, and definitely not a team you'd want to see in the reboot round. But let's just cut to the chase. Zayt, Saf and Stretch failed to get top 8 and were on a one-way train to the reboot round. This was a huge shock. You know, this is a trio who won game 1 of their Heat, right? You know, renowned as one of the best trios in not just NA East, one of the best trios in the whole world, right? So at this point, the stage was set. The reboot round, a one-off game where the winner gets the final place in Grand Finals. Fortnite in its purest form, Battle Royale in its purest form. All that matters is the win. Now, in theory, if you had to pick anybody to win you a do-or-die game of Fortnite, Zayt would probably be at the top of that list, right? He's a serial winner. We've seen Zayt and Saf win games historically in all competitions. But since its inception, the reboot round has proved to be one of the most unpredictable games of Fortnite possible, right? There is so much craziness that trying to predict a winner is just ludicrous. Like, it's the reason why on the broadcast we don't actually do predictions for it, right? Because it is just so difficult to predict who is going to win that one-off game. Now, the game kicks off. Aussie Antics and Monster D-Face on the call. And honestly, the rest is history.
He's not playing scared, but Sebi's on the back foot. He's been focused up. They have to transfer these meds over, and they're 40 below. That's why Calc's playing aggressive, Monster. 71 below. 16 players have to go down. They need damage. They can't play the game the way they wanted to. They can't get frontside. They need to find eliminations. They are now above. They're back below. This is everything for this team. They need to find something. They have to get into a team. No one's around them. But they don't take down Mega. He's deep in Storm. Stretch is setting up. He's looking. He's got the meds, but he's also got the eyes in the sky. Who has more meds, Stretch or Mega? Mega went out deep. He went in early. He's pushing back in. He knows he doesn't have it. He can't get the med kit off. That's it. As long as Stretch heals this, Zayt, Saf, and Stretch will be going through to the grand final. Wow. Stretch holds on to his history.
Zayt, Saf and Stretch though did go on to win the game, as you have just seen, and in spectacular fashion, helping to further solidify Zayt's sort of undisputed GOAT status, even without the finals taking place. Like, you know, the reality is, for the most part, regardless of what happens in the finals, I think everybody's still going to conclude that Zayt is probably the greatest player of all time. Twitter absolutely erupted. Everybody in the scene was giving this team their plaudits, just showing them, you know, just how much they appreciate their greatness. It was absolutely crazy. You know, the game was easily the most entertaining online game of Fortnite ever played, and it will be hard to top, like, over the course of this weekend, even with the FNCS Grand Finals, because it was just so exhilarating. So now the question becomes, how do we achieve this more often? This was such an amazing feeling. This is the kind of thing that, you know, everybody in the community wants more of, right? So how do we get there? Well, let's take a look at what the game is, right? The reboot round, you know, is a game where 9th to 16th in each heat get a last-ditch opportunity to qualify for the grand finals, right? All that matters is the winner. Everyone is playing for the victory out. You know, people aren't playing to a point format. We often see people thinking, hey, look, we get this many points per elimination, so let's try W key a bit more, get some more elimination points. No, that's not a thing, right? All that matters is the win, and which is why I said earlier, right? It is literally Battle Royale in its purest form. All about who can win. Right, so now how can we recreate this more often? How can we get a game where, you know, everybody is just so committed to the win and the winning moment is all about the victory royale? How do we get to that point, right? Oftentimes we see tournaments come down to its closing moments and, you know, the contenders for the tournament win go down before the game even ends, right? It robs us of that winning moment. In all other competitions, you always see a winning moment. If it's football, the World Cup finals, somebody scores a wonderful goal to secure his country to win, right? Whether it's another game like Counter-Strike or somebody has a crazy clutch in the final round. You know, how do we get more of these winning moments? They're not as common in Fortnite, right? If you think back at some of the best winning moments we've ever had, think back to last year, DreamHack Anaheim, when we saw Savage literally win the final game, you know, winning him the tournament. At that point, the tournament was pretty much already won, but it was just so amazing to be able to have that sort of winning moment built around the victory out, right? And so my solution, right, the solution I think we should at least experiment, we should try, is match points, right? This is something we've seen people in the community talk about in the past, right? Essentially, if you're wondering what match points are, it's not something that's very common in Battle Royale. However, we did see Apex Legends do an invitational tournament where they use a system that used match points. And weirdly, nobody has ever tried it in Fortnite. To put it simply, it would be a system in which once teams hit a certain point threshold, they achieve match point. And once your team has hit this match point, if you win a game after hitting the match point, you win the tournament. Meaning you will always get a winning moment, right? Somebody has to win the game once, you know, somebody has to win a game once they hit match point to win the whole tournament. So you will always get a winning moment, right? But 11, come on, man, you know, that's sort of unreasonable, right? 11 in theory, that means tournaments could go on for so long, right? Like, what if somebody hits match point and they just never win another game? Like, what do you do then? Well, the fix would be to just add a cap, right? Typically nowadays we see tournaments are somewhat, 6 games long. Let's extend that a bit. Let's say we have 8 games long, and if after the 8 games, nobody with match point wins a game, you just go off the regular leaderboards like we always do, right? You know, whoever has the most points after that 8 games is the winner. And I think if you had a system like that, right, it would just provide for so much, you know, sort of quality moments, right, that are just memorable, where somebody has to win a game to win a tournament on top of whatever they've already accomplished prior. Regardless of whether you think this is the absolute, you know, fix or solution, I do think it is something that needs to be experimented with, right? Something that definitely needs experimenting so that moments like Zayt, Saf, and Stretch can go from being a once a season occurrence to being a staple of competitive Fortnite. Let me know what you think in the description down below. Let me know what solution you think can achieve games like the Reboot round more often throughout an FNCS season. I'm super excited to hear what you guys have to say. I was super excited to watch that game last weekend, and hopefully we can see some exhilarating games similar to that over the course of this weekend while watching FNCS. I'll see you guys all on the broadcast. Goodbye.